What's going on, everyone? Moose here, and today I want to talk about my Black Aces S4 Tactical, and I want to show you guys kind of some of the steps that I go through when I get new guns. And you know, I've actually already done this to this, but I felt like this is kind of important, something cool to show you guys. So this is going to be a disassembly and clean video. I am not modifying this from its original configuration. I am simply cleaning the firearm to make sure that it functions correctly. So nothing is being altered on this in any way other than the fact that I'm cleaning it. So the gun is clear and has no ammunition in it or around it. So how we're going to start with this, and actually I'm going to grab a rag here. One thing I forgot to grab. What we're going to do is we're going to start with this, and we're going to unscrew this end cap. And that end cap will come right off. You can just simply set it to the side. You are going to grab your fore end and pull it off of the gun itself. These side pieces will come off. They are labeled right and left for future, I guess, understanding of what's going to go on. I'm not going to remove the bottom tube. I could, but there's no reason to be quite honest. At this point, we're going to go ahead and release the bolt. We're going to push this in, pull out our charging handle. This came out hard the first time that I did it. I actually utilized pliers to get it out, but outside of that, it just did what it did. Then your bolt carrier group will come out of the inside, and that's as far as we're going to take this apart. You know, all right, I'll take it apart a little bit further. You could actually use this as a really cool tool to help push these things out. Well, that does not want to come out of there. Okay, well, that was interesting. All right, let's grab these. I'm going to be very careful not to mar the gun. There we go. Got that out that side. I should be able to reach over and, geez, oh, pizzas. Just gingerly kind of pry up on that. Then your bottom piece will come out. Your trigger assembly will come out as well. And then you can just set it to the side. And there you go. You have the gun itself taken apart down to its bare parts. Now, I do want to talk about two things that I utilize for cleaning and protecting. One is, and you can use whatever you want. You can use ballistol. You can use, you know, Rem oil. Whatever. That was weird. Whatever you choose. I actually picked up some of this shooter's lube just to try it out, and I found that, you know what, it's pretty decent stuff. It does work pretty well. I don't really have any issues with it at all. You can just simply spray it on those parts. You can spray it on your internals in here just to kind of clean them up. You can even spray it in your trigger assembly just to get all the carbon deposits out and things like that. Now, one thing about this, and why am I doing this? People are going to, all right, Moose, you know, I mean, what's the deal? So here's the big deal with doing this. Most, if not all, guns are going to come from the manufacturer in such a way that they either have some sort of packing grease installed so that the guns themselves, if they happen to sit on the shelf, do not rust. Okay, so that's one reason. The other reason is because, you know, you just never know if there's like little shavings from the machining, and you know, and I'm not calling anybody out and saying that your parts suck, but what I am saying is that accidents happen and we're only human. So in order to avoid any premature wear or things like that, you know, it's just a good idea to kind of look things over, make sure that everything looks good and is functioning properly, you know, blah, blah. So this is, I could further take this apart, but I am not going to. I just don't feel like it's necessary. So we're just going to wipe all these components back down. And then we're going to move on to our barrel. And the barrel is definitely something that on this gun is very important. And there's two reasons. One, because we have these piston systems, and I should be able to loosen these up. There we go. So now you got to be careful when you pull these things off. These are your gas returns. You got to be careful because there is a little spring in there. So if you're not careful, the next thing you know, that little spring is going to take off on you, and you're going to be calling whoever your manufacturer is or Black Aces and begging for a new spring. So just be weary of the idea that there is a spring in there, and just to be cautious when you pull this out. You'll feel it kind of pull out, and then you just kind of, on top of that, you'll see, and actually I was wrong, these don't have springs in them. Okay, cool. But what you will see, and I'm gonna, hopefully you guys can zoom in on that. I'll try to zoom in on it. You see all that packing grease in there? I didn't clean this when I first got the gun. Now, this grease is not a big deal. It is not. However, I'm going to re-lube this. So I'm going to clean all these parts out, and we're going to get this thing up to where, you know, I'm kind of digging it. So we're going to use our charging handle again. That's the nice thing about this charging handle, is really this is the only tool that technically you need to work on this S4. So they get a little bit sticky to undo. And I've done this on a Benelli. It's the same. It's identical. There's no difference. They come apart the same. They feel the same. They look the same. You know, so just saying. This isn't a big deal. All right. So we got that. We'll go ahead and screw it down with our shooter's lube. Gonna clean all those parts off really good. And I am going to grab another rag here. Give me just a second. I'm going to step around over here because I got one laying right here. And then with this, I can actually use this in here, kind of clean some of this off. And like I said, I'm going to actually show you guys what I'm going to do with these, and how I like to utilize this. But you can definitely see that it's been used. You can definitely see the carbon buildup in here from the gases and things like that. So let's go ahead and clean that off. And then we'll clean these off. All right. Now I'm going to take this, and since I just got all that grease all over this thing, I'm just going to simply wipe it down. And we'll do a final wipe down before we do assembly anyway, just to kind of clean this thing up. Let me shut my phone up real quick. Sorry about that. All right. So go back to here. Now, I like to use a product, and you guys have heard me talk about this in the past, and there's a bunch of reasons that I like this product, but the biggest one is that this is a ceramic shield coating for all of your firearm parts. And let me tell you that it does two great, awesome, amazing things. One, it coats the metals on your firearm, and the other thing that it does is, and I'm really putting this stuff on there, and you probably don't have to go quite as heavy as I am, but it does need a few minutes to soak in, so I'm just gonna do that. I'm also going to do my trigger assembly, and the thing about this stuff is this ceramic shield is that it bonds molecularly it bonds to your dang metal, all right? And it creates a ceramic coating on top of your metal. And so what does it do? It protects your metal internal parts from collecting dirt, grime, dust, you know, all your old burnt gunpowder. Plus, it also coats the metal and keeps it from premature wear. So this will actually extend the life, in my opinion, of your firearm. So next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit this barrel up, and I'm going to do this first with the shooter's lube, just to clean out my barrel really good. So I'm just going to kind of soak the front part of this bore snake, and then I'm just going to simply pull it through. I kind of like to pull them through a little bit slower, just because I kind of want to give it a little bit of an opportunity to kind of soak on there. So I have already cleaned this barrel, but I wanted to show you guys once again. This is exactly how I do this, and I do this with all my firearms. It doesn't matter, you know, AR, rifle, shotgun, pistol. Doesn't make any difference. I do the exact same thing. I don't take my choke tubes out. I just leave them in there. They're fine, especially because this is the choke tube that I like to use. I can look down the bore, see that it's nice and clean, nice and shiny. It is not a rifle barrel, so not a big deal. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some of my ceramic shield, and I'm simply going to spray it down the barrel, and I'm going to spray it all the way around, and I'm going to spray it pretty liberally in there. And I'm just going to hold it upside down, kind of roll it, and what I'm going to wait for is it to start dripping out the bottom. So kind of look down there. Definitely is going in there, but we're going to give it a little bit more. I like to see it kind of come out the bottom. There it goes. So I'm just going to rotate it around. This is just giving my barrel an ultra smooth coat. It's going to cut down on all those barrel issues, you know, with wearing and collecting, you know, your used gunpowder and all that. It's just going to protect it from all that. It's going to make cleaning in the future totally easy. So, all right, now that these have been sitting for a little bit, I'm just simply going to grab a rag and wipe off all the extra. And it is coated now. So this now has a nice coat of ceramic, and you can actually tell by the feel that it has been ceramic coated. It's really quite amazing stuff. It really truly is. So we're going to put all these parts over here. We're going to do this. Now I have already ceramic coated the outside of the gun. I do that pretty much right away. And like I said, I've already done my big thorough cleaning on this, but I wanted to show you guys anyway, just exactly how easy it is to take apart, how easy it is to put back together. These things feel amazing now. I mean, they're just like, I mean, this I'm telling you, if you're not using ceramic shield, you're wrong. And you know, and I'm not saying there's not good cleaning products out there, but this really truly is an all-in-one cleaning solution, as well as a protectant. And that's what a lot of them don't do. You know, you put a thin coat of oil on there, yep, I get it, but this stuff honestly takes the place of all of those lubes, those greases, those everythings. I mean, you'll see, because this gun's going to be utilized quite a bit in the future. So now that we've got that out of the way and we're ready to pretty much assemble, I'm just going to go ahead and drop my bore snake through here one more time, just to pull out all of the, and you're going to want to be careful because now it's going to start dripping, but I want to pull out all of my ceramic shield. There you go. And you can pull it through a couple more times if that's what you want to do. I don't really worry about it that much. Alright, so now back to assembly. We're going to take our first side and just stick it in there. Oops, I lied. No, we're not. We're going to take our plunger, stick her down in there. We're going to stick this in the side and tighten it up. Get her all the way screwed in, and you'll notice that the first time you take them out compared to when you put them back in, big difference. You do want to kind of snug them up. Don't wrench these things down. Definitely don't break your charging handle. I mean, you're not gonna break the metal in this unless you really go Incredible Hulk on it, but you'll see here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this back up. There we go. Stick our tool in, give it a little tweak. Good. Now, there we go. Barrel's complete. Now we can reassemble the base of the gun. We're going to start with the trigger. I always cock my triggers. It just makes it easier, in my opinion, to get this thing back into where it goes. I did. There we go. So let me show you actually what I did. Now I gotta tap her back out. Like I said, I'm just, you gotta be careful when you guys do this, because you definitely do not want to scratch the side of your gun. It's probably best to use a punch. I just don't have one here. So what happened is right here on the side is your slide release. Can you guys see that in there? I'll try to zoom in with the camera. There's a slide release. So when you put your trigger back in, you have to push that side release to the side. Otherwise, your trigger assembly gets hung up on it. Ta-da. There you go. Then we simply slide our bolt back in. Come on, there it goes. Bolts back in. Handles back into bolt. You can push this back, lock our bolt back. Right, so now our bolt's in. Then we're simply going to grab our plastic handles here, and looking down the barrel, this is the right side, and it goes, this little lip here goes up into the bottom piece of the front there. Then we take this, slide this tube down in there, slide this together this way, kind of give it the old wiggle and shake. Come on, there it goes. There it goes. And then she locks into place. Simply take our end cap, screw that back on, check for functionality. Yes. Make sure our lock works. Yes. Make sure our safety works. So for safety, we're going to check. I cannot pull the trigger. Hit the gun, cannot pull the trigger. Safety in, click. There we go. And then there we have it. So there you have how I like to clean up my shotguns, my firearms, whatever they are. But more importantly, there you have the reassembly, disassembly of the Black Aces S4 Tactical. You could check them out. You could just Google the name. And then in your notes, when you go ahead and purchase yourself one, just tell them, hey, I heard about you from Moose, and I dig it. Till next time, be good to each other, and God bless.